All right, we're ready to go, Mr. Mayor? Okay. I would like to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we are gathered and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to the Mighty City Infrastructure Committee meeting of January 16. I declare this meeting open at 10:05 a.m. I'd like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. There are no leave of absences that I can see in the room, and we have no reports. Does anyone have any general business? Councillor Herrmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am here today to raise an important issue to residents in Logan Reserve. The eastern section of Logan Reserve is accessible via 3 roads: School Road, Logan Reserve Road North, and the south of Logan Reserve Road. Now, these 3 access points provide access for over 3,000 residents to get in and out of their houses, but also to get access to shops, the hospital, vital infrastructure that they need to use. An issue has arisen recently that during regular floods, these 3 access points have a risk of flooding. And in fact, just recently, earlier in the year, that risk was realised. School Road flooded, the north of Logan Reserve Road flooded, and for the first time in many people's memories, the south section of Logan Reserve Road flooded. Now, that section is coincidentally right next to a brand new development that's just been built. It's unclear whether that new development has caused that flooding, but residents are concerned. So I would like to ask the Director of Roads, I've asked for a memo to be prepared by Council outlining what are the plans to fix this access issue, mitigate these risks, and make sure people can get in and out of Logan Reserve safely. Mr. Director, when will we receive that memo, and when can we distribute that to residents in Logan Reserve?
Councillor, I did provide you some preliminary information in regards to the future plans that may or may not improve access out of Logan Reserve. As I said, in that preliminary advice, those existing roads, School Road, Logan Reserve Road, are all roads that have a long history and have not been upgraded. They are all on the programs to be upgraded in the future, but that may be many years, if not decades away. The flooding that occurs in the south, in those areas, does impact those roads. Many of the impacts are short-lived. So they are short up and down. They may be out of access for 12 to 24 hours, but there are not long isolations. However, to answer your question, I will provide a more detailed response to you that you could circulate to your constituents.
Thank you, Mr. Director, and this is an important issue. These roads have been victim to increased traffic as a result of approved developments. Now, there's debates over whether or not Council should provide different sort of infrastructure, whether or not government should provide Olympic stadiums, but what we can all agree on is government should provide safe access to brand new approved developments that have thousands of residents living in them. So I look forward to receiving that memo, and I look forward to working with Council to deliver more road upgrades in Logan Reserve. Thank you.
On this, Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Mr. Mayor.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was also copied in on that Facebook post from concerned residents about this, so I'd like to just add, I understand that these road networks have been under investigation for quite some time. I also recognise that this council is struggling with addressing infrastructure because, as you know, the state government froze our infrastructure charges and has done so for nearly 12 years now. And each block of land that's being built, we are subsidising the developer by $30,000 a block. So recognising that with the ongoing issue of road networks that need to be constructed to provide further development is going to be the biggest issue this council is going to face in the new council. I've done everything I possibly can to try and get the now Premier to change his mind on infrastructure charges Now, there is going to be a review, and I know the LGAQ are working on that, but I don't expect a great outcome for that. I think the best success would be 100% on infrastructure charges. We'll have to wait and see, but I think the council needs to prepare itself in future to build roads that don't necessarily create more development, but look after the residents that are currently there. Thank you.
Sorry, I've just stepped into this. So I've got stuff on here. Councillor Bradley, were you saying something? You were on the list. I'll add Councillor Raven to the list as well now. So Councillor Bradley.
Yeah, thank you. Just two things, if I may. Firstly, in relation to floodwater, I was made aware of a property that has never flooded in Greenbank in a particular area, but the flow has changed and now their whole house has been flooded, and the direction of that flow, has just changed. So it could be development that has occurred there as well. But that wasn't the main reason I put my hand up. My main reason was I sent an email on the 1st of January this year to the director after the tragic death of a 9-year-old girl, Mia, in Rochdale South in floodwaters. And I asked if I could have a wording for a GB for this particular committee to have it investigated if it's possible to enclose drains in our city. The director did reply, and I'm just curious if it could go on the record what the reply was, please.
Yes, councillor. I advised you at the time, copied the chair in as well, that to spend time and resources investigating how much it would cost to enclose every open drain in the city would not be an efficient use of council resources. It would also be cost prohibitive to the council and would require a very, very large increase in rates if that was even proposed. The difficulty is that we have thousands of kilometres of open drains throughout the city. That's a combination of swales, combination of creeks, combination of rivers. To actually investigate how much it would cost to enclose those drains would take, I would suggest, years, and then to estimate how much it would cost to actually pipe it would require design work and planning work, which would take years as well. And it is just not an efficient use of council resources.
Yep.
Yes, I acknowledge it was a very tragic event that a child ended up losing her life in a drain, but unfortunately to actually investigate that option is not an efficient use of council resources.
Thank you, Mr. Director, and I appreciate your reply. I'm just curious, is our situation any different to any other council area in Australia?
Not that I know every other council area in Australia, but I'd suggest that we are exactly the same. In designing any stormwater drainage network, councils design a pipe drainage system for their roads, which generally flow to overland flow paths for the 100-year event or greater. Those overland flow paths then flow to creeks and then flow to rivers. So I would expect that no council in Australia would be able to pipe their stormwater drainage network, or in the world for that instance, would be able to pipe their drainage network for the 100-year event. Just wouldn't be possible.
Thank you so much. I will take it offline and talk to you specific about the area, if there's anything at all that can be done. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, is this about this particular matter?
Yeah,
Okay.
my question is to the director. Silvio, in this particular case, can we actually improve the design of what is currently there? is there something we can do? Because I understand what's happened and it may have been a very rare event, but I'd hate to think that something exactly the same happens again. Can we improve this particular area?
Mr Mayor, I wouldn't like to speculate how the accident happened. I don't have that detail. My understanding was that it was an open drain swale network at the rear of a unit development up in Rochdale South. There are many of these swale developments right through Rochdale South, which are open drains. At the time, the water may have been flowing quickly, and the child might have got in distress. Obviously got in distress, but I don't think this swale is any different to any other in that area. Happy to have a look at it in detail, but like I said, I wanted to make sure that we provided, you know, some privacy for the people up there before we went in to do anything, and we don't have the details of the police report even.
Okay, thank you everyone. Councillor Raven, thank you for your patience. It's your turn now.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I'm going to hark back to Councillor Heremeyer's concerns about Logan Reserve Road. I saw the commentary around social media, and he's completely right to represent his community and to fight for the best possible outcome. I was contacted by a resident of mine who has family members, a resident of Division 5, I should say, that has family members in the area asking questions about why this flooded. I passed it on in my capacity as the chair for economic development planning. I passed it on to DA with their construction task force. And they identified that a large volume of sediment settled into the drainage and channel reserve from the nearby development, and that was what caused this flooding to happen sooner than it should have otherwise. It is noted that it's in an overland flow area. They are making the developer clean that sediment up as part of their construction task force obligations. I just want to make sure that when you provide the memo back to Councillor Heremeyer, because he'll want to keep his community informed, that you tic-tac with the construction task force to provide that information so that they know it's not just an exercise in going, it's flooded, there's nothing we can do. It's actually an exercise in going, hey, the developer's done the wrong thing, they've let its sediment escape from their property, and now we're making them clean it up at their cost to prevent it from happening again in future.
Okay, thank you everyone. Is there any more GB? Okay, so that concludes the meeting. I declare the City Infrastructure meeting on the 16th of January concluded at 18 hours, we'll say. Thank you. The next meeting will begin in 10 minutes.